Is this thing on? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Penny in the black tee, the purple silky. Alright, I'm done. But welcome to another episode of Penny Talks. I hope everybody is actually enjoying the summer for real. We getting down to the to the end of it, and people are probably heading back to work, heading back to school. So I hope you guys enjoyed the time while it was there. And if you haven't, there's always next summer, right? But I want to talk about, speaking of summer, I want to talk about one of the best times in the NBA offseason during the summertime, and that is free agency. I know free agency started a couple weeks ago, but I wanted to wait for it to simmer down, all the moves were done before I start talking about it, because I would hate to do a video and then something happens, But I think everything came down, so we're going to get into it. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So let's start off with the bombshell that I talked about already. Russell Westbrook, the all-time leader in triple-doubles, has been traded to the Lakers from the Washington Wizards. Now, on the Lakers, he's about to be teaming up with LeBron, AD, and that's pretty much it. But now in free agency, come to find out, the Lakers weren't done. Rob Pelinka got to work. Also joining the LA Lakers, the 10-time All-Star, the second all-time leading scorer in American basketball Olympic history, 2003 most outstanding player in the NCAA tournament, the number 3 overall pick. I'm gassing him up because that's my favorite player, Mr. Carmelo Anthony. Yes, sir. Melo joining the Lakers. Also joining the Lakers will be Malik Monk, who was previously with the Charlotte Hornets, and guard Kendrick Nunn, that used to be on the Miami Heat. So the Lakers doing some work. Right? The only time I ever rooted for the Lakers was when Kobe was there with Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum. It looks like I'm gonna be rooting for the Lakers again because my boy Melo there, and I like to see Melo and LeBron, win a ring together because they've been together since childhood. Or not childhood, but like teenage years. So it'll be nice if they win a ring. Do I think it's gonna be enough for the Lakers to win a ring? I hope, but I just can't see them beating Brooklyn, if you ask me. Right? But it is what it is. Let's get to other acquisitions during free agency. Let's move down south to the South Beach, Miami. The Miami Heat got Kyle Lowry in a signing trade with the Toronto Raptors. Miami got the point guard that fits their culture. That Miami team is full of dogs. That's what Eric Spoelstra wants. That was the team that Pat Riley envisioned. Kyle Lowry fits in that role. He fits in the culture of what the team is trying to do. So him, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, it's gonna be nice to see those guys together. PJ Tucker, they got dogs on their team, So we're gonna see what happens. Going to Toronto is Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa, young, big. You would think that he wouldn't really fully develop playing behind Bam Adebayo. That's Adebayo. What the? It's freaking Flight, man. Flight does this to me. I gotta stop watching Flight Reacts. Adebayo, not Abdemayo. My fault. So it's nice to see Precious to be in a better situation. He's gonna be there with Chris Boucher, OG Anunoby, possibly Pascal. I was about to say Siakam. You see, Siakam. See what happens with Pascal Siakam. He has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So we'll see if he's gonna stay in Toronto. But it seems like Toronto is ready to change the chapter. I guess you call it a soft reset. Not really a tanking situation, but let's see what Toronto can do. Let's move on into the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about The Lakers trade partner, Russell Westbrook's former team, the Washington Wizards. Washington Wizards, I'm telling you right now, mark it on the wall. Washington Wizards are not to be slept on. Yeah, they got rid of Russ, but think of it. They got back Kyle Kuzma, who needed a reset out of LA. I think did Winnie Harlow break up with him? Because if not, if he did, if they broke up, Kyle Kuzma might be tapping into a bag. I'm just gonna tell you right now. So Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, still a very good player, right? And KCP coming back to the Wizards from that Westbrook trade. So you got those three, and they signed Spencer Dinwiddie. So you guys, possible lineup of Dinwiddie, Beal, Kuzma, Hachimura, and maybe a Thomas Bryant coming back from injury, or Montrezl Harrell. That's a solid lineup to contend for a playoff spot in the East. So Wizards is gonna be definitely can't be slept on. Further in the East, let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics went through a number of changes. Obviously Kemba Walker's gone because he came back home. But I'm gonna talk about that later. But Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown seems to like be higher on that mantle as the two men that's gonna lead a new direction of the franchise. Brad Stevens moving from a head coach role to a front office role. Emmett Udoka is replacing him as the head coach. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Boston is able to pull off. I still do think that there'll be a playoff team. I mean, the talent is there just between Brown and Tatum, and then you got leadership with Horford coming back, and you got Marcus Smart. So I think it's still a playoff team. They got Dennis Schroeder, who I'll talk about a little bit more later. They got him in free agency, and that's the only real big signing they did. They re-signed Robert Williams, which people, if you guys do not know him, you guys will know him soon. Robert Williams III. Speaking of, let's talk about the LA Clippers. Now, the LA Clippers, they went to the conference finals. Kind of broke the curse of Donald. Let me not talk about him. But they went for the first conference finals appearance ever in Clippers history. So that's a good thing. I mean, on the sour note, star player Kawhi Leonard with a torn ACL. So what are the Clippers doing to salvage the season without Kawhi? They went ahead and re-signed, the star of their playoffs, Reggie Jackson. Right? You still got PG. Serge Ibaka's coming back from injury. Luke Kennard's still around. Terrence Mann kind of broke out in the playoffs too, so hopefully he takes on more of a bigger role. And Marcus Morris, remember? Marcus Morris is still a bucket. Ivica Zubac. Good players. Got good players. Will they make it make a deep run into the playoffs? Doubt it. But will they make the playoffs? Possibly. They still could be in the play-in game. They still could be anywhere between 6 and 10. So, see what happens with the Clippers. Let's talk about another surprising team in the playoffs. The Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta is on the rise, I'll tell you. They made it to the conference finals, surprisingly, right? And one of the victims in Atlanta's run to terror was my New York Knicks. But it's cool. We got y'all on Christmas, Atlanta. Don't worry. Ice Trey, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter. Ain't worried. Atlanta's stock is rising for sure. I mean, they have a plethora. Full cap word of the day. Plethora. All right. They have a plethora of young talent, right? They just drafted Sharif Cooper. They just got Jalen Johnson in the draft. They got Trae Young. They got Kevin Huerter. They got DeAndre Hunter. They got Cam Reddish. They have Bogdanovich. A lot of young players. Capella's still young. John Collins still young. And that's pretty much the core right there. And Atlanta could do some damage, honestly, if they put it all together. So it'll be nice to see what Atlanta could do. Hopefully they don't come across the Knicks again because it's all smoke next time we see them. I'm dead serious about it. But also in their division, a team on the rise is the Charlotte Hornets. They also got a young core, LaMelo Ball, Scary Terry Rozier. They signed Kelly Oubre. They got Gordon Hayward. I mean, they made some solid moves, and I feel like they're on the uprise. You know, Charlotte is definitely a team that can't be slept on, and I'm gonna like them even more if they sign Jello Ball. I think Jello Ball has been slept on for way too long, and I think he deserves a spot in the league. What's been going on with him is just straight up travesty. So Charlotte definitely on the rise. I do see them as a playoff team. Let's talk about Milwaukee. Milwaukee, are they good enough to repeat? Who knows? You know, I mean, East definitely gonna be a lot more tougher. Brooklyn's gonna come for revenge. We gotta see. But let me not steer away from the free agency aspect of it. Let's get into the winners and losers of free agency. All right, so my winners are obviously the Washington Wizards. I told you I'm high on them. Being able to get Dinwiddie in free agency, getting Kuzma, Harrell, KCP, all great moves. They can make a run at it. They can make a run at a playoff spot, not at the championship. Another winner. No bias here, but the New York Knicks is a winner. Knicks went ahead, got 4 rookies in the draft. And just so you know, I'm a real Knicks fan. Those draft picks are Quentin Grimes from University of Houston, Deuce McBride from West Virginia, Rokas Jokubaitis, hooked on phonics, from Lithuania, and the last one is Jericho Sims from the University of Texas. Worldwide West and Leon Rose are up to something, all right? They weren't done. They also re-signed basically the core of the team that took us to the playoffs. Derrick Rose. They re-signed Derrick Rose, re-signed Julius Randle, re-signed Alec Burks, re-signed Nerlens Noel, and also to add to that, we got Kemba Walker coming back home. The prodigal son is back home. Also joining him will be Evan Fournier. So it would be nice to see Kemba back home, see what they could do, because the Knicks desperately needed production at the point guard spot. So it's nice to see what Kemba could, put together for us. My last winner for free agency is the Chicago Bulls, man. I haven't even talked about Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls went ahead and had themselves a pretty interesting offseason, right? I guess they already was accumulating building pieces. They already had Zach LaVine. They got Vucevic in a trade, and now they added on to that. They went and got Lonzo Ball from the New Orleans Pelicans, and also got DeMar DeRozan from the San Antonio Spurs. I don't know why I'm messing up today, but so good. So they went ahead and got those guys, and also got probably who will end up being the greatest player of their franchise, Alex Caruso. Alright, Chicago pretty much kind of trampoline themselves into possibly home court advantage in this upcoming season for the playoffs. They could be a top 14 when you really look at it, the grand scheme of things, but can't sleep on Chicago. I'm just gonna tell you that. All right, those are my 3 winners. Losers for free agency. 1, I believe a loser is the Sacramento Kings. I think Sacramento Kings is a loser. I don't think they've made any substantial moves that could really move them from being in a solid team, basically. The Sacramento Kings have not made the playoffs since 2006. Your boy was in 3rd grade, 2006. That's bad. Was I in the 3rd grade, 2006? Maybe I was in the 4th grade. But it's still bad regardless. Then they haven't made any moves. They drafted Davion Mitchell, but I mean, now you become guard heavy with De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton. You still got Buddy Hield. So I don't know what they're doing in Sacramento. I really don't. But that's their situation. Loser number 2 of the offseason is the Boston Celtics. I feel like the Boston Celtics basically traded picks and the players just for the Knicks to acquire them. I don't know what Boston is doing. It's a weird transitional period, but hopefully just having Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum kind of offsets all that. And then the last loser, and I think you guys know, if you guys been following free agency, I think you know who this last loser is. But the last loser is newly acquired Boston Celtics guard Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder fumbled the bag. Ultimate bag. My man could have made 4 years, $84 million from the Lakers. Turned it down. Decided to bet on himself. Which, with all due respect, I get it, but it's from the Lakers. 84 mil to play with LeBron, AD, possibly get a ring. Now you're gonna play for the Celtics, probably get bounced out first or second round, and you missed out on $78 million because Dennis Schroeder only signed for $6 million with the Celtics. So let that be a lesson be learned. I don't know what the lesson is, but I don't know. Take something out of it. All right. That's pretty much it for free agency. I hope everybody is good. All right. Stay healthy. All right. Be happy. Life is tasty. Like a grape. All right. I'm out of here. Deuces.